All right, guys, so for the first tip, it's going to have to do with how to gun down vehicles. And the first step you want to do is make sure that that vehicle actually doesn't see you. So if the vehicle sees you, it'll be easy for them to drive off in another direction and you won't be able to catch them. And you have to remember that they have a third-person perspective and that they can see things over walls, and it gets tough. So what you want to do is you kind of want to break that. So I'm standing in a place behind this wall, sort of like behind these two walls. I'm very hard to see, and my friend is running towards a tree to hide behind a tree so that when this guy inevitably goes to a buy, that we'll be able to sort of pick him off here. So check this out.
Like, who took that car?
Oh no. Okay.
So it's an easy kill. I thought for a second maybe I want to pull out my precision to like precision it 100 meters ahead of him or something like that. Was stupid, but you get the idea that that driver had no idea that we were there because my friend was behind a tree and I was behind a wall. So that's tip number one. Make sure that when you're fighting your opponents that you kind of make them panic a little bit, that you stress them out. So when we see this driver going towards the buy, I know you might think, oh, you wait for a down to hit a precision or you use a precision just to cross. Well, it's a little bit more than that, because if I precision the buy here, they won't be able to really get a loadout, because if I precision it right now, by the time that they get out and purchase a loadout, they'll die to it, right? So just in case this guy is going to res his friend or purchase a loadout, I'm going to pretty much make sure that that doesn't happen, all right? So check out how this fight goes after we precision the buy.
A guy or the driver? Oh, the driver's on the buy. Two people on the buy. Two people there. Another squad. Precision. I have a heartbeat. 50 meters? Yeah.
So his friend's running back. He's kind of running scared from both of us.
Satchel on me.
So we're trying to surround him, make sure that we block off any exits for this guy. My friend points out that he's on the heartbeat. We're going towards this building that's right in front of us. It's important that you clear every single corner that he could be at, and not just the ones that are obvious, right? So when we open this door here, it's easy to think like, oh, he's just going to be, to our left in these windows. But when you open a door, see how he's like right behind the door when you open that? It sounds obvious, but you want to make sure you clear everything. And the best way to do that sometimes is to shoulder peek around each corner. So when you run through the door, you kind of check where he is, and then you can come back out and then come back in once you have that information. All right, so that's really, really important. So that's going to be tip number two. It's sort of two things. One is going to be make sure that you stress out your opponent, prevent them to do what they want to do. In that case, maybe they wanted to go to the buy and purchase a loadout. The airstrike prevented that. Then when we pinned a guy down into a house, you want to make sure that you clear the house safely and effectively. Alrighty, so for tip number three, it's going to be about pre-firing. So the way that you want to pre-fire is to think about your enemy's movement. So in this case, we know that there are two people really close to us, okay? So there's one person who's right on the other side of this wall, and then his teammate, most likely, who's in the pool, all right? So we take care of the first guy, no problem. And then the second guy in the pool, he's got a little bit of a better position. He has a little bit more cover. So check out to see what happens, and then we'll go over it.
I was in the pool corner, I dinked him a little bit. And had him reloading.
He's lit.
Easy. Nice.
So for the case of the pre-fire, right? My friend is trying to push this guy in pool, all right? So I almost down him. I get him like one shot. So I know that this guy doesn't want to be in the pool anymore. He wants to sort of slide cancel himself out of there. He wants to go out the back. He needs to get out of this place that we have him pinned, right? Because if I watch over him and my friend pushes, my friend's most likely going to kill him, right? Especially with me with sort of like this awesome view over the window. So I know that he's going to want to get out soon. So in that case, I start pre-firing and I get the kill. So that's tip number three. This is one of my favorite tips in the video, which is to remember the situation that your friend or your squad mate laid out at the beginning of a fight throughout the fight, that you remember the situation, which is that in this case, my friend calls out that there are two people downstairs and I'm coming from the top to pincer them while he comes from the bottom. Okay, so check out to see what happens when I see the first guy.
Oh no, they are downstairs.
I'm coming from upstairs.
Both.
He points out that they're both cracked. Alright, so see the first guy, and I down the first guy. The absolute first thing I should be doing as soon as that guy is downed, hopefully I don't drop down like this because I'm a little bit sensitive to the guy that's behind me. He could probably just kill me if he was a little bit faster. But I downed the first guy, right? I should turn around right away because my friend says that they're coming upstairs. So if they're coming upstairs, I should not be tunnel vision on the first guy down, but rather kill the guy that's behind me, right? So check this out. So we end up killing him, but it would have been a lot cleaner if I were to turn around earlier because this guy could have escaped another way and I would have been able to see it. Tip number 5 is going to be awareness. And I know that's a really broad thing to say, but I do so many things wrong in this play that I think I was able to capture everything I mean by awareness. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this play and we're going to pinpoint every single thing that I do wrong. And then this way, you'll be able to apply this to your own games and make sure you don't make the same mistakes. And we're both going to get really good at this game. All right, so let's check it out.
How the hell are you on top?
See, got 48 meters on my heartbeat. I'm assuming that he's on the ground floor or inside a building. All right, what's wrong with this? What am I missing here? Well, there's a guy on top of the roof here, and I don't see him because I'm distracted by the loot here. And that's a mistake that I think happens to all of us, that we tunnel vision on either a person or loot or a car or whatnot. And it's important to remember that at the beginning of this, you can even see on the radar that he's red dot, and there's no triangle facing downwards and there's no triangle facing upwards, which means that he's on the same level as I am, which means he's on a roof. So you can use that to your advantage. The radar, when it shows that someone is on higher ground or lower ground. In this case, he's on the same level. I should immediately see that, be checking the radar, and know that he's on the same level. And you can see how I get punished by this. I'm looking to see. All right.
It's on the top of that roof there.
And I try to get myself, but he has time to push.
Oh, he's pushing his car.
I can't help with it. I like no angle. So.
Everything in this video, you actually can correct relatively quickly. I even was missing 2 plates. So you gotta remember, ammo, armor, radar, everything, to be constantly reminding yourself what you need to take the advantage in each fight and to just be more deliberate in your movement. So that's why I'm gonna say it's just awareness. It's being aware of your surroundings and things will go a lot better. This next tip is going to be about how you go from point A to point B, no matter how far away, always being around cover, and preferably knowing the situation with how many enemies are around and where they are. In this case, we kind of know that there are people up the hill, but we get surprised by people who are actually ending up behind us. Now, you want to run in a way where if there is someone behind you, you actually can run to cover and gain the advantage on them as well. So look at the difference in routes that I take versus my friend and why I get knocked and my friend doesn't.
Got out here. Truck's coming back. Sets behind us. So I actually get knocked because I swing right, whereas my friend stays next to the wall and he instantly decides to start fighting because he might feel that even if he gets behind cover, that they might push up and he wants to get some knowledge before we get back to cover. So it's totally the right play because if he does feel like he's losing this challenge, right now you can see he's losing some armor plates potentially, right? If he feels that he's losing that, he can get back into cover and then, maybe revive me or re-challenge them. So you can see that I get punished for swinging far out right in the middle of the open, whereas he stayed close to the walls. Look at you. He's by the ladder of the building.
Now he can get me.
Ladder
like 10
of
meters?
the SOS building. Ladder SOS building.
I decide to play it up here. He's in an engagement.
Cracks down on right above you.
He calls it he's right above me. So I go up here. Gotta get some more information as to where they are. And I finish this guy. This is really, again, not great because you can see that when I'm on top of this, we're just gonna call it like a house, whatever. When I'm on top of the storage units, I am really susceptible to getting shot from not anybody, right? Whereas let's say I took the route that my friend takes, which is on these boxes here, right? If I jump like that and then jump onto the edge right here, I can just jump right back off in case I get shot. But the way that I went to puts me dead center at the top of this roof where
I might not have time to actually get back to cover. So really risky by me and also just not great. When you see one straggler on the radar like we do right here, you want to make sure he doesn't escape. In our case, what we do is one person will push, and maybe we'll shoulder peek just to get some information, and then when he gets some information we can both challenge together. In this case, I'm going to stay back, my friend's going to push, and I'm going to make sure that I block off any exits to make sure that he doesn't juke us. So check out to see what happens here.
Under the plane, I think? Yeah. No plates, one bullet.
My friend calls out that he's got no plates. I throw a Semtex in here to maybe just mask. I know that he's not there. So I know that he probably, like 99% chance he's completely left the plane at that point. However, I do that to add an explosion to the footsteps that my friend might be getting, close to the enemy, sort of mask the sound of his footsteps. So I know that he's behind this truck here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a nade, force him to move, and take him out. So you can see that my friend and I sort of making sure that this guy does not escape. So at the beginning, he's sort of trapped in the plane. I throw a Semtex to sort of mask the movement of my friend pushing, and then I throw another one to make sure that he can't stay behind that truck, maybe call a precision on us or something, or maybe his friend is up in the air and giving him information. It could be a whole host of things, but you want to make sure that you kind of take care of him quickly, and the grenade was sort of the best way to get him out of that position. So this next tip is going to be about how you re-challenge the enemy. So you'll see in this clip that I will I wouldn't say shoulder peek, but I'll peek around the corner, I'll see where the enemy is, and then I'm going to re-challenge him with a jump around the corner. But try to figure out what my mistake is here, and then we're going to go over it after.
Yeah.
Alright, so you'll see later that the guy is probably cheating in the kill cam. You can decide for yourself. But what I do wrong here, if we go back a little bit, we can actually see, right? So when I first see him, start hitting him, when I jump around this corner, half of my body is already showing when I jump around that corner. Whereas if I stepped back a little bit, got my tactical sprint going, and then actually jumped before I hit the corner, it will look much more so that I'm sort of it'll be much harder to track because I'll actually be jumping off the corner as opposed to just have half my body showing, whereas he'll actually see me come around the corner before I jump, which is the whole point of jumping around a corner, is that you're much harder to track when they come out of the corner. So check this out. See how that? I'm actually around the corner before I even jump. Now I jump, he comes around. Now you can decide for yourself if he was cheating. Kind of tracks me. Who knows? But I figured out what my mistake was, and I'll try not to make it again. And now you guys know too. Alright, so off to the next tip. Alright, so here I am coming back from the gulag. And when you're coming back from the gulag or you're being respawned, it's a great time to notify your teammates of any important information. And at the end of the game, pretty much any information as to where the enemies might be is important, because the circle is going to get really small, and that way you can start to memorize where each team is coming from. In this case, I let them know about something more urgent, about someone entering cop station. So check out to see what happens in this clip, and then we're going to discuss the second part of this tip after the clip is shown.
Don't know exactly where. The big rust.
Oh, entering cop.
So I clearly tell him that he's entering cop station if that wasn't obvious enough.
Thank you for that call.
I only saw one.
Holy shit, dude! You don't make that call, 100% I die. I gas masker.
So my teammates being super nice about some comms that I made. Were the comms easy to give? Yeah, I was just looking in that area. But if you can compliment your teammate on something that they did, it will help them sort of wash away any negative thoughts that they had about the game. So in my case, I was feeling pretty bad about losing my last gunfight. It was a bad jump, yada yada. But those thoughts are gone. I'm back. I've got a custom gun. My teammates raising my morale based on the comms that I gave, right? So if you can do that with your teammates, no matter how minute it might be, let's say you get a kill and it was because your teammate dropped you some ammo in a fight, yeah, that ammo came in clutch. It can be something even more minor than that. It could be anything. But if you have a reason to sort of compliment your teammate, definitely do it, because in a game like Warzone where everyone's trying to win, but the likelihood of winning is still very low, any bit of
morale increases is honestly really, really helpful. So with this final circle coming up, I noticed that a lot of it takes place in an open field and on top of roofs. So I decided to pick up a sniper from the previous guys that we killed in Cop Station. I felt like it might prove useful and ends up being kind of nice. But the real tip here is actually something that we do as a duo, in which when it gets to be the final circle or close to there, we ask the question, where do we want to be? It's a really simple question, but you'll see all the best players ask that question. It's something that we ask because we've learned that from streams and so on. But we ask, where do you want to be? And then you look at the map, you look at the radar or whatever, and you decide where is the best place to be. So I'm going to let this clip play out for a bit, and then we'll discuss it.
Okay, where do we want to be here? Airport roof's gonna have a god spot. We need to watch for them. This guy
Get
right over
under
here
them?
sniping
Can we
at
just
us.
get under?
Yes, probably.
We're kind of holding this guy. We don't want to let him cross.
I love it. I love it.
Broke armor?
Airport roof.
My friend
Airport
says he's
roof, I'm
off of
not
it. He
with
doesn't
you.
want to contest it anymore. It's getting a little bit too risky. It's better to get towards the
Back to
spot that
airport
we
roof.
really need to be
Wish I used
as
that
fast as
cross.
possible.
Do we want to
We
play
should
under
go
here?
under there.
Yeah.
It would be, I want to add that it would be nice to hold those people, but it's more important that we get into the position that is game winning, because kills are nice and all, but a win's a win. So the way that we're going to get a win is by getting into the most powerful spot. And in that case, we cannot get to airport roof right now, but we can be safe under airport roof.
There's a team above us.
Put him above us. Down him. Down him.
So I thought about taking the zip line, but it's too risky because that guy could have self-res, his teammate could be alive. Honestly, too risky. So we decided to spend most of the final circle here being sort of under airport roof here, which is kind of a safe place because we're not being seen from the roof, and the guys that are out in the field that would be progressing to airport parking lot will not see us either, so we can sort of wait to see what happens when the circle closes and then sort of go from there.
Gotta pick the zip line. Not worth it.
No, fuck that shit. Yeah, they rezzed. I
So
wonder if that was a cell. That was pretty
sort
fast,
of,
actually.
we sort of hear the res that's up there,
Good chance that was a cell.
and now we hang out here
I don't think
for
the
a
spot's
little bit
terrible.
of
We have
time.
decent cover, actually.
It's kind of rough if we get
So
finished.
let's just see how this
It's
end
on
game
res
sort of plays
by.
out.
This bus is covered too.
I wonder if I want to get into bottom parking garage. That's what I'm kind of like from like this angle. You know what I mean?
The other
I think that's the strat.
Decide to move in a bit.
I'm a fan of both. 28 meters, two people.
Yeah.
Are they up top? Wow, 22 meters. They could be right down this hall. No, they're up top. 32 meters to the right, eh? Dead body there. Yes. Yeah, okay.
Kind of missed my shot.
Right on that guy, but there's more. There's definitely more there. Someone just parachuted right on us. Probably right on the roof.
Last guy's gulag.
Also,
Or,
gulager up
the
here.
last guy. One of them is
The
gulag.
gulager.
Alright, so now it's
People
2v2.
right above us though. Oh, 2v2, 2v2. Go downstairs. Bottom floor. Hard bottom floor.
So why are we going downstairs? Well, it's a lot easier to travel downstairs. There's a ton more cover downstairs. Upstairs, they could be from airport roof just gunning us down. It's way too risky to go upstairs. And my friend immediately notices that. We go downstairs.
The last squad is right above us. Dropping a plate box. Right here.
We play a lot of games together, so our comms are generally good. Always good.
Found him. Teammates down here. Other guy suicided.
Nice.
Jeez.
There you go.
Hey.
Honestly, like, you can see that I'm being pretty carried towards that final circle, but I still decided to show you the rest of that clip because I think I learned a ton from it, and I hope you do too. Moral of the story here is make really quick decisions when you're in that final circle. Spend the time when you're in cover to decide what you want to do next. You know, my friend decides, let's go into the underground area. We go there, then we go upstairs to clear out those guys from cover, and then we know that the last squad is from airport roof, and then rather than going upstairs, we go downstairs because there's a lot more cover there and we're not susceptible to getting shot from the roof. Just to summarize tip number 10, tip number 10 is really mostly about end games and prioritizing the god spot, as we call it. So the spot that is going to be
the game-winning spot. Where do you want to be? You should always ask yourself, where do you want to be? And especially towards the final circles in Warzone. So I hope this video was helpful, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.